welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Yeah, we're turning it up. We're turning up the radio. I got some autograph for you right here. And we're getting ready for Sports Corner Radio. Yes, indeed. Sports Corner show, radio show, whatever you want to call it. It's Sports Corner. Yeah, we're going to turn it up. All right. It's with me and Smokin' Jim Frazier. I'm Ralph Williams, your host. Smokin' Jim Frazier, my co-host. And today we have a big time lineup for you. The booking machine is at work today. I have coming up shortly, he's in the waiting room, Coach ERIK RAEBURN of the Gannon football program for the Gannon University up there in Erie. And also at 4:30, Ray FIDIPALDO will join us by phone from training camp at the Steelers headquarters, Steeler training camp, to talk with us about the Steelers. And here's the big kicker of them all. At 5 o'clock, Noah House will join us to talk about the Pirates. Oh, man, we got our bases covered today. And then on top of that, at 5:30 for our Wrestle Talk segment. And Smokin' Jim and I are going to start at 5:20 today because we got a lot to talk about in wrestling. We're going to go over the SummerSlam event that happened on Saturday. But we have Tad Jarvis joining us. He's an independent wrestler around Western Pennsylvania. He wrestles for different wrestling companies. He's going to talk with us about how his career is going in independent wrestling, what's going on with the companies he wrestles with. And don't forget our sponsor, our national sponsors, ASAP Sports, Amped Up Sports, Galaxy Sports. Also, we have TGI Sports Network, CRSMmedia.com. Real soon, you're going to be here seeing Sports Corner show on CRSMmedia.com. That's coming up. I will be giving them the shows today, and you will be hearing that as well. Also, Sideline Sports, South Florida Tribune, Steel City Sports World, and also Let's Talk Sports. All right. And this show is dedicated, as it is all the time, to my late father, Ralph Williams II, and also to my late nephew, Sean Negley Jr. All right. Smokin' Jim Frazier, how are you today? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. I'm ready for this one.
Oh, absolutely. You know it. And also, we're going to get into my rant and then Smokin' Jim's wisdom. My rant today is I found out this week that Evgeny Malkin is going to step down after this contract. He's going to go to Russia and play hockey. And he said he wants to do it so that the Penguins have enough money to sign Sidney Crosby. That's great. I'm glad you're doing it, Evgeny Malkin, because you've been here as long as Sidney Crosby, and I'm really happy that you're doing it as well. And another reason I'm happy you're doing it as well is because it's time for somebody in this bunch to move on. It's time for the Penguins to get younger, faster. It's time for Kyle Dubas to step up and say, hey, look, I know some of you guys want to stay here for your legacy, but if your legacy is going to be a losing season every year, that's not my legacy. So in order to save his legacy, Evgeny Malkin is stepping away when his contract runs out, and he's going to go to Russia and play hockey, and he's going to stay in Russia. Good for him. He's going to do like Jaromir Jagr did. He'll be 56 years old or something, still playing hockey. Good for him. Good for his career. Good for his legacy. I'm glad Evgeny Malkin's stepping away from the Penguins, and that's my rant for today. Smokin' Jim's wisdom.
Hey, great job, Ralph.
Thank you.
Back in 2017 on draft day, I took a lot of heat when the Steelers drafted T.J. Watt, and I immediately said he's the best linebacker in Steeler history. I took a lot of heat for several years because of that, but in the words of Cool Mo D, how you like me now? Pittsburgh Steelers had great success with white linebackers over the years. T.J. Watt, future Hall of Famer. Jack Lambert, Hall of Famer. Jack Ham, Hall of Famer. Kevin Green, Hall of Famer. Andy Russell should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm telling you right now, the Steelers got on their roster one of the best linebackers in their history. And I tell you what, at the end of the day, if he stays healthy, Peyton Wilson will go down in history as maybe the best or the second best linebacker in Steeler history, right up there with T.J. Watt. That's my rant.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. In fact, I was just going to say, how about we include Peyton Wilson into that, but we're going to see where he goes. All right, let's get started with our first guest of the show today, Coach ERIK RAEBURN. Coach, welcome to the show from Gannon University football. As I told you, and I'm doing it, and I don't break my promises. I'm circling Western Pennsylvania and getting all these small state universities on here and getting every one of them on here as much as I can, or whoever's available. But I got you, ERIK RAEBURN. Great to have you on here from Gannon University. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for including us on your show.
Hey, anytime. ERIK, tell us a little bit about your program. I know you're getting ready for the 2024 season. You have some tough games in there. I know you're playing IUP and a few other teams. How's your season looking this year as far as your schedule?
Yeah, we're excited, optimistic. I think we have some really talented guys coming back and some newcomers that I think have great potential. But as you mentioned, we have a brutally tough schedule, particularly the first half of the season. I think in our first 5 games, we play 4 teams that were in the playoffs a year ago. So we'll get tested really hard right off the bat. But I do think we have potential to have another really good season.
Well, you're at Edinboro too, and Slippery Rock, I see here. So you guys are really going to be having a real tough season there as well. Seton Hill, California, PA, where Smokin Jim went to school, Kutztown, East Stroudsburg, and Northwood. So that's a pretty tough schedule there, I see. So how's your players looking this year? What can we expect from your team this year?
Yeah, I guess we're really excited about our defense. We've gotten much better defensively the last few years. Kind of steady improvement. And in most defensive categories, a year ago we were in the top 4 or 5 in the league. So hopefully we're going to continue to build on that success on that side of the football. Obviously on offense, we feel like we have really good offensive line returning. Both our tackles have played a ton of football. Riley Noble was all conference a year ago. He's a preseason All-American. He's a 5th-year guy. He's got a ton of experience and a lot of talent. So we really feel like that group up front is maybe the best it's been since I've been here as a coach.
All right, Smokin Jim, any questions for Coach RAEBURN?
Hey, Coach, you pretty much hit it on the head. I was going to say beforehand, they didn't do you no favors with this schedule. But I tell you what, Coach, last year in 2023, you guys got off to a very slow start. But once you circled the wagon, you had some very impressive wins in the meat of your schedule and end up with a pretty impressive record. I tell you what, if you do that again, Coach, you're going to have to pay probably more NIL money than you bring in salary, brother.
Yeah, we need some help with that NIL money. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's become a serious thing here in college football these days is the NIL. So how was your recruiting this year, Coach? Were you able to get the athletes you wanted this year?
We did. We felt like we had a lot of success in recruiting. We're really excited about some of these new guys that we're bringing in. We got a handful of guys out of the portal that are older, kind of game experience, a little more proven. But we feel like we got some great talent from the high school level as well. I think with the portal, there's a lot of bigger schools who, they're not recruiting as many kids out of high school, a lot of these D1 schools, and so I think there's some guys who maybe 5 years ago would have got D1 scholarships that are available for D2 schools like Gannon and the rest of the PSAC schools.
Right. I see. Coach, I know you guys play up there in Erie. What's it like in the wintertime up there? I mean, I know it's got to be pretty frozen cold and the snow and all that stuff. Is it difficult to play in like that? I mean, when that happens, or do they cancel games, or do they have game delays, or how does that work with that up there?
Yeah, to be honest, we've been pretty fortunate in the fall. The weather for football season, since I've been the coach here, it's the weather's really cooperated. We've had good weather. We probably have worse weather for spring football practice than we do for the fall, it seems like. But and I know our spring sports, baseball and softball, that they end up getting a lot of games that have to be rescheduled and stuff. But we've been pretty fortunate, knock on wood. Most Saturdays in the fall, we get some good weather at home when we're playing here in Erie.
Well, that's great. That's good to hear. Let me ask you this question. I know you've had some tough games over the years. Probably who was your toughest opponent ever, or currently right now? Who would be your toughest opponent?
Well, obviously, as you look at this year's schedule, Kutztown would have to be up there. They were the defending PSAC champs. They made it to the semifinals last year in the national playoffs. We play them right off the bat early on in the season. And then Slippery Rock, we had a tough game with them this past year. They've won the PSAC West.
Oh yeah, they had a really good year this year. They have done really well, there. So
they've been in the playoffs, multiple years.
Right.
So those two teams are probably traditionally have been the two toughest ones on our schedule.
All righty, Smokin' Jim, you have any questions for Coach RAEBURN?
Yeah, just one last question, Coach. What makes Division II football in this area so competitive and tough? You got many teams on your schedule that's ranked in the top 20, and some of them been as ranked as high as the top 10. What makes Division II football so dominating here in southwestern Pennsylvania?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think our conference is really good top to bottom. Every week you have somebody seems like somebody you're playing is nationally ranked, but I think it's probably because football is important in Pennsylvania, Western PA, Northeast Ohio. We're kind of right on the Western PA, Northeast Ohio border. So we got a lot of players from Western PA and Northeast Ohio. Like you can go back and look at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and there are just at quarterback, there's a ton of guys that played their high school football in Western PA. So I think the fact that football is important in this area, and the fact that there's great high school football in this area, I think that's why our conference is so challenging.
Yeah, I think the reason why it's challenging as well is a lot of these kids come out of high school and they can't make it to a big university. They either can't afford it, or they feel that they can get through, like with you go to Gann and play for a couple years and then maybe go to Pitt or something. You know what I mean? And that's where I think the small universities all around Western Pennsylvania benefit kids like that and athletes who really want to make some of themselves. Hey, there's nothing wrong with starting out small. And there's nothing wrong with being at a small university and being able to make it. I've seen guys from Slippery Rock make it in the USFL, make it in the NFL and things like that. So Robert Morris and stuff like that. And I know your program probably has had a few over the years. So what I'm saying is it's really nothing wrong with that at all.
That's right. You just got to go somewhere where you feel like it's a good fit and have a great experience. And, in terms of playing at the next level, if you're good enough, they will find you no matter where you're at. The NFL is a multi-billion-dollar business, so they will spend as much money as they have to send scouts to every school, in the country. And We hosted a pro day for the
great.
PSAC last spring. So it was great for the athletes in our conference. All the guys that were graduating seniors, they got to work out for the NFL scouts and have a chance to, try to impress them and get an opportunity at the next level.
All right, Coach RAEBURN, thanks for being part of the show. Smokin' Jim, do you have any final questions for Coach?
Hey, great job, Coach. We're going to be pulling for you this year, sir.
Absolutely. We're
right.
pulling for you guys, man. You and this, you're from Erie. There's nothing wrong with that. For me, I love Erie. So, like I said, I'm going back up in a couple weeks to not only promote this show in my media, but I'm also going up there to do some fishing and really get. Because last time I went up where I did some fishing, I caught a couple, but that was it. But this time I'm looking to do a better job at some fishing up there this time around. So see what happens.
This is the place to come if you like to fish.
Oh, absolutely. It is great. All right, Coach RAEBURN, thank you for being part of the program. We'll have you come back on another time. Thank you. And good luck with your season this year. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. That was Gannon University head coach ERIK RAEBURN talking about his season. Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on Gannon football this year?
I'll tell you what, Gannon used to be pretty much strictly a basketball school, but thanks to Coach RAEBURN and some of the recruits, not only in Pennsylvania, but Ohio, I tell you what, they're competitive in football as well. So that's a great school to go to, man. People ought to consider, taking a visit up to Gannon. I think they really would like it.
And we'll promote as much as we can here. So,
but he's gonna have to pay the price for not speaking more highly of KLU. So
there you go.
Yeah,
hey, I'm going to work on that, Smokin' Jim.
Baby.
I'm going to work on getting Cal. Huh?
He'll next time we have him on, he'll speak highly because we're gonna run the score up on him this year just for that.
I'm going to work on getting Cal U on here or Cal Pennsylvania on here. So we'll see how that works. But anyway, I'm the booking machine. I can do it just about anybody. So, all right. When we come back, Smokin' Jim's boxing report right after these words. Ralph Williams here to talk to you today about Alex's Flowers. Alex's Flowers at 1742 Chislett Street in Morningside. Call 412-661-6071. Best wedding arrangements, funeral arrangements, any kind of an arrangement for any kind of purpose. Call Alex 412-661-6071 or alexsflowers.com. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you. Alex's Flowers, for the best 30 years of experience in doing flower arrangements. Alex's Flowers. Ralph Williams here. I'm handicapped. I'm in a wheelchair. And you know something? I need a different type of a vehicle. And if you're in the position that I'm in and you need a different type of a vehicle, such as a wheelchair accessible van that you can put your wheelchair or power chair in, well, guess what? I have the solution for you. Keystone Coachworks on Library Road, Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, or you can call them today at 833-1900. That's 833-1900. Give them a call today or get on their website and check out their selection of some of the best models of wheelchair vans that they have. Not only can you own, but you can rent and you can finance. Keystone Coachworks does it all for you, and they are the best at what they do. And they've been around a long time. So give Dawn a call. Ask for Dawn, 833-1900, and tell Dawn that Ralph Williams sent you. Keystone Coachworks for the best in wheelchair accessible vans. Do you want great draft coverage, great draft information, Do you want it all about any draft? NBA, Major League Baseball, the NFL. Let me talk to you today about Draft Nation. Yes, Draft Nation has the best coverage of all drafts. NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, anything connected with the draft. And they also have an e-magazine that they'll put in your inbox, $9.99 a month. DraftNation.com. Check them out today. All right, we're back here at the Sports Corner Show. We're here every Tuesday. Smokin' Jim Frazier, Ralph Williams. Smokin' Jim's my co-host. I'm your host, Ralph Williams, and we're here every single Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m. We talk all different types of sports: Penguins, Pirates, Steelers, small college, big college. We're going to be getting into cornhole and pickleball. There you go, Smokin' Jim. Cornhole and pickleball. We can get started with that. There you go. So, all right. But anyway, Smokin' Jim's boxing report brought to you by Big Dog Auto, one of our new sponsors, West Mifflin, right over by the county airport. Big Dog Auto will fix your car, brakes, state inspection, and also oil changes. He also has all different types of car repairs, and he does it for you at the right price, and he does it right. Go to Big Dog Auto in West Mifflin. Call them today, 412-999-0191. That's 412-999-0191. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you. Big Dog Auto. All right, go ahead, Smokin' Jim boxing report.
Well, your boy Luther Dupree took another L this weekend. For the last several years, I've been saying that this young heavyweight, Big Baby Anderson, was a mama's boy. He was soft. He's 6'4", 235 pounds. He was supposed to be the next great heavyweight to come out of the USA. And I kept telling Luther and Claudio that this guy makes a lot of mistakes. He's being babied. He's doing some things that people do that don't have a father in their life. Like he was on a high-speed chase with the police. They should have beat him into the ground, but he got up laughing, joking. He thought it was funny. His next fight, he comes in a NASCAR racing outfit, kind of like, thumbing his nose at the police after he did some stuff. He got caught smoking marijuana in the car. Just a lot of stuff that somebody that's looking to be mature shouldn't be doing. I said he was a mama's boy. He was fighting a lot of setups. Everybody says he was the next champion of the world. Well, this weekend, he fought an African named Bakoli. And I tell you what, Big Baby in the first round was dominating like he usually does. But he started to make mistakes. He left that left hand out there too long. He had his body weight over his feet too far. And the African hit him with an uppercut and put him down. And you can see the spirit leaving the arena. He didn't want to take no more hits. He went another 3 rounds before getting knocked down four more times before the referee stopped the fight. So Luther took an L on Big Baby Anderson. I took a W. And so we don't have to hear about the Big Baby mama's boy. Most people, after they start walking and get rid of the pull-ups, get rid of the Big Baby name. But he kept until he was 25, and it didn't help him against the African. And that's my boxing report.
All right. Great, Smokin' Jim, as always. Your boxing report till we get the boxing authorities back up and running again. It's sad to hear. We were going to put Sports Corner on TV, Sports Corner TV, last Thursday on August 1st, but we cannot because of the shutdown coming up at the end of August. But we are working as producers to try to get keep the station open. So Smokin' Jim and I can put not only just Sports Corner on there, but Wrestle Talk as well. And I'm looking for a way to put Wrestle Talk either on internet radio or perhaps we're going to try to do something. But right now, we're keeping it here with Sports Corner. Go ahead,
Ralph, what's the status of the television station? Do you know?
Here's what I know. I know John has no interest in keeping it going. I know that. He's waved the white flag. That I know. We are working very hard. We're trying to get a hold of the city. We're trying to get a meeting either with the mayor or with city council. We're trying to get something done to keep the station going. He's already turned in the paperwork to the city of Pittsburgh and they will seize access of the equipment effective August 31st. So we're going to find out what happens here. We're working very diligently, but John said we cannot use the studio. We're thinking about using the studio to do a telethon, like QED does, to try to raise money and get some donations to try to keep the station open. And if we do restructure the station, it's going to be on a volunteer basis and maybe just a couple paid employees, and that's it, but it's going to be mostly volunteer. We're going to try to get it up and running again and keep it going. All right, so that's what we're doing right now. So, you know, we're writing letters, emailing people. I've reached out to some dignitaries that I know of. You know, I've threatened some of them. I said, I will not vote for you, and I'll blast you on my shows and everything else. So either you step up and do something, or I'm going to tear you apart. And so we're going to find out what happens here, Smokin' Jim. We really are. So, you know,
thank you.
That's all I can tell you right now. So, you know, so. All right, Smokin' Jim, let's talk a little bit of college football here before we have Ray come on. He'll be on in about 3-4 minutes. I'm going to be getting in touch with him to get him on the air. College football news: Kentucky will have to vacate wins from an NCAA investigation into football players impersonating or they were doing imperishable benefits they were giving players. What that means, I have no clue, Smokin' Jim. And Colorado has transferred to the Big 12 this year. Your thoughts on Deion Sanders and company moving to the Big 12 in this Kentucky news?
Well, it's going to be a lot better for them than what it was in the Pac-10. They couldn't keep up with the scoreboard in the Pac-10.
Yeah.
The Big 12 is pretty tough, but they don't score as much, so he might have an outside shot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, you know, we have Michigan is being investigated for some stuff they did last year with Jim Harbaugh and the new coach that's taken over there. He has said that you know, he'll just they're going to have to eat it, whatever the punishment is. They did an investigation there. I think it's recruiting or something to that effect, or something happened there in Michigan as well, Smokin' Jim. So it looks like Michigan might not be able to be in a bowl game this year or anything like that. So we're going to find out what happens.
One of the big things that Michigan was doing was they were sending out impersonating the assistant coaches as photographers, and they was getting on the sideline of the opposing teams and filming their hand signals and calls and stuff like that. They were doing. They took whatever New England did to a whole nother level, and they got caught doing it. That's why Harbaugh had to sit out 3 games last year. But hey, they're not going to take away their national championship. Harbaugh's in the NFL, so I guess the new coach would be the sacrificial lamb.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When we come back, Ray FIDIPALDO right after this. I am handicapped. I'm in a wheelchair, and I will not deny it. But I've had some recent inconveniences lately. So you know what I did? I went out and I reached out to foldandtravelmobility.com. You know, foldandtravelmobility.com has some of the best folding power wheelchairs. Look, do you not go to certain events because you can't get there, or you can't make it because you need a folding power wheelchair to put in your vehicle? Well, guess what? Foldandtravelmobility.com has the right model for you. Get in touch with them today. Foldandtravelmobility.com. Get on the phone, 1-877-GOTFOLD, foldandtravelmobility.com, 1-877-GOTFOLD. Let the experts help you get into a folding power wheelchair. Don't be sad. Be glad. Let your life get back in order. Foldandtravelmobility.com. All right, we're back here at Sports Corner, and coming up here in a couple seconds here, we're going to have Ray FIDIPALDO as our guest, joining us today to talk with us about the Steelers. But first, I want to say the sponsor for Ray FIDIPALDO, and that's the original Hometown Pizza, Moon Township, University Boulevard, 412-264-4444. That's 412-264-4444. All right, our guest is on the line with us here, Ray FIDIPALDO. Ray, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Ralph. How are we doing today?
We're doing really good, Ray. It's great to have you on. I know you're on your way back or have left Steelers training camp. Tell us a little bit about an update. What's going on there? Some of the players they signed recently, because we haven't spoken in a few weeks. What's going on with the Steelers?
Yeah, so Russell Wilson, as you guys know, suffered a calf injury during the conditioning test 2 weeks ago. Tuesday morning, he did the most he's done since that injury. Probably took about half the reps with the starters. Ralph, I still don't expect him to play Friday night against the Texans, but he is inching closer to a full return, so that's good for the Steelers. Other than the quarterback situation, they also did some juggling on their offensive line today. Troy Fautanu, the rookie first-round pick, worked with the starters at right tackle, and Dan Moore and Broderick Jones split the snaps at left tackle. So I do think eventually, we'll see if it's before the regular season opener against the Falcons. Fautanu is probably going to be the right tackle, and Broderick Jones will probably be the left tackle, but seems like they're going to take their time and let that play out a little bit before it happens.
So what's going on with Open Door Dan Moore?
Well, he's hanging on, Ralph. As you know, the Steelers like him. He's their 3-year returning starter. He's played more than 3,000 career snaps. They're just not going to hand the job over to a rookie without the rookie earning it. So as long as Troy Fautanu and Broderick Jones play well in these preseason games, I think you'll see that happen sooner rather than later. I just think they're playing deference to Moore because he's been a contributor for 3 years now. But you and I both know they invested a first-round pick in Jones.
Right.
They invested a first-round pick in Fautanu for a reason. And that's
Yes.
to be starters, and that's going to happen eventually. We just don't have a firm timetable just yet.
Smokin Jim, any questions for Ray?
What's happening, my man Ray? Again, I got to disagree with everybody. I think Dan Moore is going to the Pro Bowl left tackle this year. We'll see how it plays out. But how does Kelvin Austin? What kind of camp is Kelvin Austin having, Ray?
Yeah, listen, Jim, Calvin Austin is playing well. I think every receiver in that training camp has represented themselves well. I do think Van Jefferson is pretty much established as the number 2 right now behind George Pickens. That Austin, Scotty Miller, Wes Watkins, all those guys have had their moments. They were never looking for Calvin Austin to be the 2. I think they're looking at him to maybe be a 3 or a 4. As you guys know, Roman Wilson is out with an ankle injury. He's unlikely to play Friday, so it does open the door for guys like Austin Miller and Watkins to get a few more reps to impress and to increase their chances of being contributors here later in the season.
Ray, tell us a little bit about what's happening with special teams. We haven't heard too much. Is special teams going to look a little bit better this year? I know we have a new punter. Chris Boswell's doing his thing, and we have some new kick returners. What's going on with special teams?
Yeah, Ralph, I think the big difference is going to be in the punter. Cameron Johnston is a proven vet. If you watch him in practice, it's like night and day compared to Presley Harmon. So their punting game should be much improved. You mentioned that Chris Boswell is back for another year. He's coming off another strong season. In the return game, the kickoff return at least, it's a big unknown because we don't know exactly how that play is going to look. I think everyone watched, the Hall of Fame game until it got called off. Everyone was interested in the kickoff return. To me, what I saw in that game was kind of unexciting. You know, there weren't any big plays. I think every special teams coach will kind of have their own kind of thoughts on the play, so I think we'll see different approaches, but I wasn't all that impressed by what happened in the Hall of Fame game.
Let me ask you this. How's Peyton Wilson doing at linebacker? And I know they just re-signed Marcus Golden, which is great. I thought he did a pretty decent job this year as far as, getting into the, into the game. And when he was in there with his experience and everything, he was able to play at least pretty well. What's your thoughts on Marcus Golden coming back, and how's Peyton Wilson looking?
Yeah, I mean, Marcus Golden was a really good re-sign by the Steelers. 4 sacks last year, I think, in just like 200 snaps or so. So, he averaged about 15 snaps a game, and he produced. And you need depth at outside linebacker. God forbid there's another injury to T.J. Watt or Alex Highsmith. You need proven vets like Marcus Golden on your roster to be in the reserve. So, you look at last year's sack totals, guys, 47 sacks by the Steelers, 33 came from the outside linebacker. So Golden was a big part of that. In terms of Peyton Wilson, he looks really athletic. He can move, he can run, he can go sideline to sideline. He's impressed me, but obviously I want to see him against other teams. I think these preseason games are big for him. I think the expectation within that building is he'll be the dime linebacker this season, so he'll get some snaps pretty much every game. But, he's in the same boat as Fontanu and Frazier and all those other rookies. He's got to prove it in the preseason before they put him out there for good.
Smokin, Jim, you have any questions for Ray?
Yeah, I just got one quick one, Ray. Has Benny Bishop been a pleasant surprise at slot corner?
Yeah, listen, Benny Bishop has played really well. We're now 2 weeks into it. He's been running with the ones for that entire time. They haven't really looked at any other options. He's been solid. And, I think he's got a chance. They're looking for a guy basically to play half the season. So whether it's Benny Bishop or somebody else, it's a half a season of a tryout to see if you can play in the NFL, because Cam Sutton's going to come off that suspension in mid-November. So great opportunity for Benny Bishop. He's really run with it, so I give him credit. But again, let's see how he does Friday night against the Texans, then against the Bills, then against the Lions. That's going to play a big part in his evaluation as well.
Ray, how about Corey Trice? What's going on with Corey Trice? I know he's coming off of an injury. What's he looking like?
Yeah, they're slowly working him back in. He's pretty much 1 year out from an ACL injury, so I think they've taken their time with him. I think the hope is he could be your top backup outside corner. They really like his length, his size. He's 6'3", 205, 210. They really like that about him. But he's got a ways to go. He's coming off a tough injury. I think ACLs are tough for guys who rely on their wheels as much as corners do. So, hopefully he can get back into the swing of things. But he's really just getting started, and they're just really throwing him into the defense for the first time here within the last week or so.
It's been pretty quiet with the defensive line. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with them. I know Cam is there, Okunjobi. What are we looking at here? What's Llewell up to this year? Is he going to be a bust, or what's going on with him and on the rest of the gang here?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about the starters. You mentioned Ogunjobi and Hayward. Keanu Benton is the other starter. A little bit banged up now. He's not practicing much, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything that lingers into the regular season. My big question about the D-line is the depth.
Yes.
You mentioned DeMarvin Leal. He really hasn't done much in his 2 years. He's a third-round pick.
Yes.
You expect more out of him.
Right.
Isaiah Loudermilk, another guy, fifth-round pick, hasn't done much. So this is a really big opportunity for DeMarvin Leal and Isaac Loudermilk and They got a rookie, Logan Lee, who's a
Yes.
sixth-round pick that they're
Yes.
looking at. So, I think they're okay there as long as nobody gets injured. But if there's an injury to any of those starters, Ralph, they might be in for some trouble.
All right, here's the big question of the day, and then I'll have Smokin' Jim ask you a question. What's going on with is there going to be a big name wide receiver coming to the Steelers? Yes or no?
How's this? To be determined. I'm not going to shut the door on it, Ralph.
Right.
Omar, I think, is just waiting in the weeds. For the 49ers ask to come down a little bit. Patriots and Browns have offers on the table. Ayuk doesn't have to accept them. He can wait to see if the Steelers step up their offer. I think he wants to play for the Steelers. Now it's a matter of, okay, do the 49ers come down in their asking price? And if they don't, do the Steelers up their price and make the 49ers happy? I think that's what we're waiting on. I mean, hopefully we get an answer in the next few days or so, because the storyline is what? 3-4 months old? I'm kind of getting tired of it.
Oh, yeah. Smokin' Jim, you have any more questions for Ray?
No, great job, Ray, as usual, buddy.
All right, Ray. I know you're in the thick of things at training camp there. Let's go to the offense, the running backs. I know Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. How's the kid from Georgia looking? And there's a few other guys in the mix as well.
Yeah, I mean, Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren look really good. Been really impressed with the way they've played. Cordero Patterson hasn't practiced yet. He's an injury, so he's still waiting in the wings. They haven't activated him yet. So I think all expectations are, if he's healthy, he'll be the third running back. But if I had to pick among the reserves, the fringe guys after Warren and Harris, I'm impressed with this Jonathan Ward. He's number 35, so if you're looking for a guy to watch on Friday night, look out for Jonathan Ward. I think he's had a good camp, and I'm interested to see how he does against another team in the Texans in that first preseason game.
What's I know Firemoose doing pretty well tight end. They brought in that Rydell kid or whatever from Atlanta and a few other guys. What's the tight ends looking like?
Good. Rodney Williams, he's had a shoulder injury. We carried 4 tight ends last year. Williams was one of them. So I think when it comes down to that last roster spot, it's probably going to be between Williams and Michael Pruitt. And Michael Pruitt might have the edge because he's played for Arthur Smith in Tennessee and Atlanta. So I think that counts for something. But like the offensive line, I think the tight end group is a pretty deep group. I feel pretty good about it. And whoever they decide to keep, I think that'll be one of the strengths of this football team. Yeah,
they got Pruitt, and then they got that kid from New England, and Firemuth. I think the tight ends look pretty good, and they might even go with 4 because if they don't have a receiver to complement George Pickens, if Roman Wilson doesn't come back, wouldn't you agree on the fact that they might have to go with the tight end a little more?
Yeah, listen, you're right. They kept 4 last year. Although Rodney Williams was kept more for the special teams prowess, he was really good for Danny Smith. So, anytime you're talking about the 3rd string, 4th string tight end, those guys have to show up on special teams. But I agree with you. Between Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward, all those guys, that's a good group for Arthur Smith to work with.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting during cutdown time for that. But of course, Connor Hayward also can be used as a fullback, which of course, and whatnot. So I think it's going to be an interesting year. I'm interested to see what Arthur Smith's offense looks like with Roman Wilson, Justin Fields. I guess I'm taking Fields, and Kyle Allen will get most of the starting time for this game coming up. We will not see Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Ralph, I don't think you're going to see Wilson. I think Fields will get a few series, and then I think you'll see Kyle Allen, and you'll see the undrafted rookie, John Reese Plumlee, after that.
I thought Plumlee moved on. I thought he was drafted by the UFL. What happened?
He was drafted by the UFL. I think if the Steelers cut him His rights go to the UFL, but he's still in camp with the Steelers.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, great. I didn't know that. That's Smokin' Jim's guy. I didn't know that. I thought that, he was he had to immediately go to the UFL and couldn't play for the Steelers. Okay, great. That's good to hear. All right. Ray, thanks for being part of the program. Ray FIDIPALDO from the Post-Gazette covers the Steelers. Smokin' Jim, any final questions?
Hey, appreciate you, Ray.
All right. And Ray, thank you for being part of the program today on your way back from training camp. And it's great to have you on as always. We'll be talking throughout the season. And you have yourself a great day and be safe.
Sounds good, Ralph. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Ray FIDIPALDO, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, joining us by phone today because he couldn't get online somewhere. He was on. He's at training camp, but training camp has just completed. And he's in his car. And he was on the phone with us to tell us what's going on with the Steelers. Your thoughts, Smokin' Jim?
Oh, man, I tell you what, man, Ray, as usual, dropped dimes after dimes. I give his call a 99%. I thought that, you and him, I'm not seeing the magic with Dan Moore.
Open door more.
You gotta eat your word.
Hey, you know what?
But,
I'm going to do this, Smokin' Jim. You ready? You know what that is? That's an alarm because he's open door more,
Okay. But I tell you what, man, Peyton Wilson, Benny Bishop, and he gave us Jonathan Ward, a running back
yes.
from Central Michigan.
Yes.
That's kind of bounced around the league a little bit. So he gave us some players to look out for. And I tell you what, I'm happy to hear that some of the receivers have been looking pretty good in practice. So
yeah, I heard Van Robinson's been looking pretty good too. I forgot to ask him about him, but I heard Jefferson. I'm sorry, Jefferson. Yeah, he's been looking pretty good.
Yeah, you did. He mentioned Jefferson.
Oh, he did. I wasn't sure if he did. Yeah.
He said Jefferson's doing well.
Yeah,
looks like he's the number 2 receiver right now.
Well, it looks like this new wide receivers coach isn't playing around. I saw him tell George Pickens where to eat it. I mean, because this guy. I think that it's the guy we got from the Jets or one of the other teams that we brought in. He fired that Mike Tomlin fired that wide receivers coach that was here last few years. So he wasn't taking no jive from George Pickens, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't either. But I think
if George Pickens wants him gone like he did the last receiver coach, he'll be gone, man. George Pickens' problem is way bigger than the position coach.
Yeah, that's true.
He was able to do what he wanted to do at Georgia. Coach Tomlin allowed him to do what he wanted to do for 3 years here.
Right.
And, the receiver, he's been yelling at the receiver coach as much as the receiver coach has been yelling at him.
Yeah, I know. It's been back and forth there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's uncoachable, man. He could never play for me, even though he's
way.
Hall of Fame talent.
No way. Why we're talking about the NFL here, and we'll be coming up on 5 o'clock. Noah Howells will be joining us shortly at 5 o'clock to talk about your Pittsburgh Pirates, who I said was going to be 500. And guess what? They're still peaking at 500. I didn't even expect them to be in a wild card chase. I was just looking at 500. To me, at this point, 500 is gold right now for the Pirates. And with the Paul Skeens thing and everything, we'll talk about with Noah Howells. But while we're on the football subject, Smokin' Jim, and we're talking National Football League and everything else, what are your thoughts on what are your thoughts on Mike Tomlin's new contract extension? I think this is it for him. This is his last contract. He'll have 20 years, and I think he's going to be gone. What do you think?
Well, it's hard to predict. If he fulfills his contract, that's 4 more years at $20 million per year.
Right.
He may be willing to walk away. I don't think Mike Tomlin wants to go into another season without a veteran quarterback.
Right.
I think he's putting all his eggs in Russell Wilson's basket this year. What happens after that, whether he stays with the Pittsburgh Steelers or leave, I think hinges on whether the Pittsburgh Steelers can bring in a competent veteran quarterback. You know, they can't draft none.
Yeah, we saw Kenny Pickett and all that. Yes, exactly.
And I hear he's not even going to be the backup in Philadelphia.
No, he's doing bad. At first, he was doing really well. And then all of a sudden now he started to fall off. And, you know, Claudio Rosano said that he didn't think that Kenny Pickett was that good. Luther took an L on this one because Luther was pushing for Kenny. Another L. And you even said that you didn't think Kenny. And I thought Kenny Pickett was going to be a 3rd or 5th round draft pick. I never expected it in the 1st round. And I was really surprised when they did draft him in the 1st round. And I know why they drafted him in the 1st round. Because Kevin Colbert didn't want to hear all the fuss from Pitt fans if Kenny Pickett got drafted somewhere else and went somewhere else to play, just like they did Dan Marino. That's why they took Kenny Pickett, at the time. And I thought that that was a stupid idea to do it that way just because you didn't want to hear from Pitt fans. You know what I mean? Who cares, you know, whether or not Pitt fans are angry or not. Dan Marino, he was a Hall of Fame quarterback. It was too bad he didn't get any Super Bowls, but he was a Hall of Fame passing quarterback that was good. And I think with the Steelers defense, I think Dan Marino, if he would have played for the Steelers, we'd have at least 10 or 12 Super Bowls, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we would. I mean, the offense and the defense combined working together, because in Miami, they had a stinky defense, and he had to keep putting 40, 50 points on the Dan Marino did. So when you think about it, that's what you know what's going on with them, you know, with Dan Marino and all that. So you know, but anyway, don't forget to join me Wednesday nights 9 o'clock on the kneecap biting YouTube channel. I'm on with Jeremy Ballrick and a bunch of guys. We talk about football. It's called our Football Roundtable, which is actually quite good. We talk a lot of different topics about the NFL. And everything else. We don't talk about college at all, but we talk about the NFL and, you know, about the Detroit Lions. We played Detroit in the preseason this year, Smokin' Jim. I know Smokin' Jeremy B calls himself a Smokin' too. One of these days, the two of you are going to be on the same air with me here. I'd like to see the battle of the Smokin'. So there you go. You know. But anyway, what do you think about Detroit this year as far as Dan Campbell? I think they're gonna do pretty well again this year.
Well, it'll be 66 years and counting. You know, the curse is real. Bobby Lane put a curse on them in 1958. Said they'll never win another championship for 50 years, and it's been 66 years and counting. They were up 24-7. Last year, and the curse kicked in the second half, and they ended up losing to San Francisco. And I don't think they'll get that close again this year. I think that that was their one opportunity. But Bobby Lane, wherever he's at, has not lifted that curse. And I'm not touching that curse. So 66 years,
there you go.
66 years and counting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Malik Neighbors, Kirby Joseph throw punches at a fight between the Lions and the Giants in a joint practice. How do you like that one, huh? There you go. Some fisticuffs going on between the two there. So, you know. But, how about this one here? Broncos depth chart lists Jarrett Stidham ahead of Zach Wilson at quarterback, and number 2 is Bo Nix, and they moved Zach Wilson down to number 3. Your thoughts on Denver doing that with Peyton Will or with Sean Payton?
Well, my draft report, I think I'm the only one on the planet that had Bo Nix as the next Drew Brees. I just thought that he was a phenomenal quarterback with a lot of experience. And I thought Denver would be wise to draft him. On draft day, they were saying he may go 3rd, 4th round.
That's what I thought, because all the publications I read said that, Smokin' Jim. You know. So
I think he's going to be a star for Denver. He's a hard-working guy, very productive everywhere he's been at several different schools, man, and just had a great career. Like Drew Brees, undersized. Drew Brees was undersized at Purdue, but, you know, hard work and dedication is what made Drew Brees, and it's the same thing with Bo Nix, and they both throw a nice football. So I think that Denver got outstanding quarterback, man. They lucked out.
All right. Okay. Titans are holding high hopes for rookie J.C. Latham I guess he's not doing too well there in practice. But you know what? It's early. I thought the Steelers should. My pick was J.C. Latham. I didn't even pick Fonatanu or whatever his name is there. I think I got it right on that one. But yeah, exactly. All right, Smokin' Jim. One last thing before we got 5 minutes until Noah House comes on. Your thoughts on the Hall of Fame this year?
The Hall of Fame,
the class.
You know, the people want.
Yeah, the class.
The class,
right.
Average to below average. First of all, you know, I don't have part-time players in my Hall of Fame. I don't know how a kickoff return guy got into a Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Hey, Wolfley's brother got in. Wolfley's brother got in, I think. Wolfley, remember Craig Wolfley's brother?
Yeah,
I think.
He's not in the Hall of Fame. No,
okay.
He was tough, but he's not. He'll never make the Hall of Fame.
He was a good special teams player, though, for many years.
He was a heck of a fullback.
Oh,
too.
yes.
He was a heck of a fullback.
Yes, he was. I can't remember his brother's first name, but I do remember him when he played for the Cardinals and a few. Yeah.
Well, I remember when he played for West Virginia.
West Virginia,
yeah. But I'll tell you what, man. You know, I thought it was a good class. I thought the defensive end from Carolina, I'm trying to think of his name.
Dwight Freeney.
150.
Well, Freeney got in, I think.
Good.
Yeah,
he was good. But the King Kong, I can see his face. Played basketball at North Carolina and football. But he was an absolute beast, man. I was happy for him. One of the all-time great defensive lineman.
Right.
And I'm glad he was, early ballot, if not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, well, I was looking see what's going on when Ben and company and some of these other guys are going to get in the Hall of Fame. Harrison didn't make it this year, and we had a few other guys. Hines Ward's still not in it. I had a big argument on Saturday on the External Bum Show with Scott Morganroth. I thought Hines Ward should be in the Hall of Fame, and that kind of thing. And we had a heated discussion. If you watched the show, we had a heated discussion about that. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't understand it.
I do too.
But the Steelers.
What was the argument for not having him there?
Well, Morganroth thinks that there are other athletes better than Hines Ward. And I says, I get his stats were not that great, Scott, but he won 2 Super Bowls. And then on top of that, he was a good blocking wide receiver. Just because his passing stats aren't that great, that doesn't mean anything. And he broke some records anyway. And he was a great football player. I mean, how many times did Chan Gailey pull the switch and the Mike Mularkey with the gadget plays because of Hines Ward, and stuff like that. Won some games because of it. Won a Super Bowl because of it,
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen wide receivers go in less talented than Hines Ward and didn't even win a Super Bowl and get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Julius Peppers was who I was thinking about.
That's who. Yeah.
Dwight Freeney was another great one, man. Woo.
Yeah.
Randy Gradishire, man, they had some good ones. Andre Johnson. I thought everyone was deserving, with the exception of Devin Hester.
I kind of agree with you on that one, Smokin' Jim. I thought Devin Hester.
Patrick Willis kind of surprised me getting in as early as he did, being that he quit football. And I love Steve McMichael, but I'm not too sure if he was a Hall of Famer, but he was a great player. Yeah.
All right. All right. We're going to go to a break, and Smokin' Jim, and we have Noah waiting in the waiting room. We're going to get him on shortly, and we're getting ready for our second hour of Sports Corner right here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch platforms. Also, we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios, 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, right after these words. Let me talk to you here today about Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. They have the best technicians to handle your furnace, air conditioner, UV lighting, snow melt, much, much more. Call them today, 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You can also catch them on Facebook at Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Mata, you ought to call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. I'm Ralph Williams, here to talk to you today about sponsorship advertising. I have some great sponsorship advertising at a low price. And what I have to offer you is 6 to 8 podcasts. Also, don't forget about our website, www.rwmedia.org, and a whole lot more. Call for details and pricing today, 412-545-4317. Great affordable advertising with RW Media Productions.
Welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
All right, we're back here, Sports Corner. Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier. Thank you, Doug, for the introductions. We're in hour number 2 of Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier. We have a big guest list today. We just heard from Ray FIDIPALDO from the Post-Gazette, and now we have one of his colleagues coming on, Noah Hiles. Noah, here to talk with us about the Pirates, covers the Pirates for the Post-Gazette. How are you, Noah?
I'm well, Ralph. How are you?
Good. Smokin' Jim, say hello to Noah.
My man Noah, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. Hope all's well with you, Smokin' Jim.
All right, Noah, let's talk a little bit about these trades that Ben Cherington made recently, and also the and the Pirates as a whole right now. What's your thoughts on these trades that were made?
I like them. Do they make this team a World Series contender? No. But I think they make the Pirates better this year and in years to come. You look at what they did at the deadline. They added a power bat in the outfield, something they desperately needed. This guy isn't a superstar, but De La Cruz is a guy who's probably going to hit 20 to 30 home runs for them for the next 2-3 seasons. That's a good addition, in my opinion. They added a very versatile piece in Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, a guy who could play 7 different positions at a high level, a guy who's hitting close to 300. You could bat him anywhere in the order. He's batted low in the order. He batted leadoff on Sunday. He's batting 5th tonight. So, you have to like the versatility you get with him. He's under club control next year as well. So you add 2 very reliable everyday players at the big league level, something they needed to kind of fill out their lineup. They bring in Jalen Beeks, a rental left-handed arm, who I think is a nice little addition to the bullpen. They probably should have used him Sunday rather than Holderman in the 7th, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. And then something else that I think is notable is they added to their farm system. They added a couple of hitting prospects, something that the minor league system was missing a little bit. They're able to flip some pitchers, Quinn Priester being one, Patrick Riley being another. And they bring in guys who are AAA batters, guys who we probably won't see at the major league level this year, but will be depth pieces next season. And I think that that's a smart move to make because, with all the pitching they already have at the big league level, there's only so many spots. And Quinn Priester's a guy where he's shown potential at times, but his greatest asset to this team was potentially being traded. And they flipped him over to a guy who might be able to help them score runs as opposed to, stopping the opposition from scoring runs. And I really like the moves they made.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%, especially the guy you said about the that can play all those positions. Yeah. I like that guy. I mean, what about this York guy? What's the story with him?
Yeah, Nick York is a former first-round pick. He's 22 years old. He's in AAA. He's hit safely in each of his 5 games and with AAA Indianapolis since being moved over to Pittsburgh. So I like him. I like that it's like I said, he's who they got for Priester, and Priester was a guy that what was his future with this team? Maybe a back end starter if there were some injuries and he pitched really well. But you bring in a guy like York who he profiles similar to a guy like Nick Gonzalez. And they could use more players like him. Maybe Nick York plays center field for this team one day. Maybe he plays third base. Maybe he plays second or short. You can never have enough good hitters. Everyone thinks, you can never have enough pitching. I totally agree. Well, the Pirates have a lot of pitching. They need hitters.
Yeah, they have no hitters.
And being able to add York and Cook to their minor league system, those are two top 20 prospects now that they have.
That's great. Smokin' Jim, any questions for Noah?
Yeah, Noah, why can't we be playing the Chicago White Sox right now, man?
Hey, the Pirates started that streak. The Pirates started that streak. They swept them right before the All-Star break, and they haven't won since. The American League All-Star team has more wins since July than the White Sox do.
The White Sox, yeah. Yeah, the White Sox are bad, man. Who would ever thought? I mean, they had a pretty decent team for a while there, and then now all of a sudden they kind of soiled the bed more or less, and they haven't played well. My question to you is, Noah, what is the problem here? Why can we not keep the steady flow of wins? Is it it seems to be a combination of errors, pitching, bad pitching, no hitting. It seems to be a multitude of things that's keeping this team from actually winning consistently.
Yeah, I mean it's. I think the way to summarize it all is a team's got to learn how to win games, right?
Yes.
There's talent here, and that might be what this year's purpose is. They might not make the playoffs this year. They probably won't. But I think that they're learning a lot this year. A lot of the guys on this team, O'Neal Cruz, Brian Hayes, Brian Reynolds, David Bednar, Mitch Keller, Skeens, Jones, you keep going. It's the first time they played meaningful baseball in August at the big league level. And this is going to be an experience for them. Now, granted, you would like to see them get the best of these situations, but I think that you need there's no stats that quantify it, but you need to have these experiences. You need to understand what it's like when the games are a little bit more impactful than what you're playing in May and June. And so, yeah, I think that's it, where a lot of these guys are new to this situation, and being uncomfortable can create mistakes, and that's what's happening. It's
Hey, Noah, I wanted to let you know, did you miss the ceremony today there at PNC? You're at PNC Park, correct?
I am, yes.
Did you miss the ceremony there today?
What ceremony?
They put windows up in the bathrooms.
Why is
that? You know why? So you could pee and see.
That's why you're the best in the business, Ralph.
No, you know what? I can't do the divorce court joke this year because they're actually winning.
Right.
They're actually doing some sense of winning. What's your thoughts on this year's crowds? I noticed that now there's actually a talk. Smokin' Jim Frazier said it. There's actually a talk this year about the Pirates. Usually when the Steelers start training camp, the Pirates go bye-byes as far as Pittsburgh goes. But now it looks like they're into the Pirates because of Paul Skeens, and I think because of the play of the team itself. I mean, I think sometimes, the team wins and then they lose. Let me ask you this question. Is there any movement going to happen with Hayes, or is Hayes going to stay and be the future of this team, Brian Hayes?
I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he was traded this offseason. Just going off of conversations that I've had, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, but I don't know if it's a guarantee that he stays out here through the remainder of his contract, which runs through 2029. So, I mean, you look at, based off the moves they made, I mean, they have a guy who can play third base in his spot now. You could move Kiner Falefa to the third base next year. If you're looking, I mean, this is a team that obviously, they known for not spending a lot of money, but they have a guy that could be an attractive trade piece that you could use him to get a first baseman, to get a center fielder. You already have another guy who could slide over to play third.
Yeah.
With him being gone.
If Nick Gonzalez comes back, I think Nick Gonzalez could be perfect. Triolo plays there as well. G1 base still with the team. So, I mean, you got guys who can fill in that spot. You really don't need Brian Hayes in some perspective, because he stinks at the plate and he's always hurt all the time. So, I mean, and that's just when you're paying them the kind of money that they're paying them, and all you're getting is defense. That's nice, but you need a sense of a bat as well, and that's why I asked you that question, because I think that this is where we are with him, and I just want to know what's going to happen, because I've never been a fan of his, because all he can do is defense, and that's it. I mean, he really can't. You know what I mean? He makes great plays. Don't get me wrong, on the field, but his bat is Terry strikes out all the time, and he's always hurt, and that's just to me. For what he's getting paid, I think he needs to be a little more, involved. But what can I say? All right, Smokin' Jim. Any more questions for Noah?
No, great job, Noah, as usual, buddy.
All right, Noah. Let me ask you about the bullpen. I know they made a few improvements. They got that Weaver guy and a few other people. What's his name? The one we just talked about earlier.
Jalen Beeks.
Beeks, yeah. Because you know what? When I hear Beeks, I always think of Trading Places when he says, "Where's Clarence Beeks?" Yeah. So, your thoughts on the bullpen with Beeks and some of these other guys coming around?
I mean, the bullpen I still think is a strength. I mean, one guy's kind of hurt them recently. Colin Holderman's been the leading pitcher in their last 3 losses. I still don't think it's fair to pile on him too much, because he was the guy who carried this bullpen for the first 3 months of the season. He's just going through a slump right now, but the good thing is, I mean, they have enough depth where they should be able to use other guys in high leverage spots. Kyle Nicholas is really good. Aroldis Chapman, I think, has been really good.
What did you say was good? Kyle Nicholas.
Yeah. Look up his numbers.
After what he did in that Cubs game, I would have cut him.
Have you watched him since then?
No, I haven't watched him since then. No.
Yeah, no. He had a sub-1 ERA
I wanted him out after that Cubs game, man. I was pissed. I was sitting there going, you know what? This is ridiculous. This guy shouldn't even be here, man. He can't even pitch a T-ball game.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's come a long way since May. I wouldn't be shocked if he's their next closer.
Yeah.
Years down the line, he is.
Well, I haven't seen him lately, so I don't know what he's been doing.
Look up his numbers. He's having a really good year.
I didn't even think he was still on the team. I mean, I thought he was done. Or whatever.
He's been probably one of their better players over the last 2 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say Kyle Nicholas. Who?
He's good.
Oh, my goodness.
You got Nicholas, Chapman. I mean, they've got other options. I would expect to see them get more opportunities. Okay.
Smokin' Jim, any further questions for Noah before he goes?
No, sir.
He's got to get ready for the Pirate game tonight. Who's pitching tonight, Noah?
Bailey Falter.
Oh, Falter's done really well. I mean, he hasn't done too bad. The last couple games were a little tough, but he's been doing pretty well for himself till the injury, and so. My thoughts to you, my ask to you, your thoughts real quick before you go. Martin Perez trade. What was your thoughts on him going? I know he struggled after his injury and everything.
I mean, I think part of it was a salary dump. They wanted to get rid of his money so they could bring in guys like De La Cruz and Kiner Falefa. And I think also it's just, I mean, they had 8 starting pitchers in the beginning of July, and they traded 2 of them. They traded their worst 2. Priester and Perez were their worst 2 starting pitchers.
Oh, Priester,
and they used Priester to bring in a prospect, and they used Perez to clear out some money. So good trades.
It was some good trades this year. No, I thought Ben Cherington actually stepped it up this year. I thought it was pretty decent. We didn't just, dump salaries and get guys in here 1 in 15 like Huntington used to do, and stuff. Like I used to make jokes that we traded a janitor for 2 1 in 15 pitchers.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, real quick, your thoughts on Pitt. I know you don't cover them this year. What do you think they're going to do this year, real fast, before you go?
I think they're going to be really bad. I think they're going to be very bad.
Yeah, I don't know about this talent with Kate Bell's offense. They're going to really have to wait, because this is another Todd Graham situation where we're going to run it up the left lane and we're going to do this and that. But, we'll see. All right, Noah, thank you for being part of the program. Have fun there at PNC Park and, check out the new windows.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ralph.
All right, you have a great one. Thank you. All right, Noah House from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and our friends at the Post-Gazette, Ray FIDIPALDO. It was great to have him on here to talk about the Steelers. And we're going to get Matt Venzel coming on here soon in the next few weeks to start talking about the Penguins. Camp starts in September, and the Penguins season's getting ready to start this year. Kyle Dubas has added some young talent and some experienced talent at that. We're going to see how this goes. Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on Noah and the Pirates and what he had to say?
I tell you what, man, what a great at the bookie machine. You get not only you get the guests, you get the best of the best, man. I tell you what, he's enthusiastic about baseball, very knowledgeable, and I'm happy for him that the Pirates are somewhat in contention still this late.
Absolutely.
In the season.
Yeah, but I'm rounding up some guests for next week too. So, I'm looking at a small college coach again from PA here, and I think we're going to get some guys on here. I am the booking machine. I'm going to try to get retired Mike Warfield from Aliquippa. I'm going to try to get him on here. Donta Green from Westinghouse as they get started with their season coming up. It's going to be a great year. Still with the as long as the booking machine gets the guests on here, the show is great. So and even when we don't have guests, Smokin' Jim, you and I do a good show to begin with, so it doesn't make any difference.
My man.
That's it. You know it. So anyway, all right, coming up at 5:30, we have Tad Jarvis, who is a independent wrestler, and we're going to try to every week here on Sports Corner have an independent wrestler as a guest on here, and I'm working on a few guys. Mark Charles, I'm working on. He's a referee in independent wrestling. I'm working on getting him on, and I'm working on some other guys as well. And so just to let you know, we are sponsors for Allied Powers Wrestling Federation with Bubba Brewer, and we're also sponsors with the Pros Wrestling. Both of them have events coming up, and we'll be airing the spots on those events coming up. Both of them have events on August 24th. So, as well. So I just want to let you know that as well. And we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studio, 724-201-0500, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Smokin' Jim, real quick, baseball. The Oakland Athletics are about to leave to go to Sacramento. Supposedly, they're suing Alameda County, which is the county in Oakland, California, for something in regards to their ending of their lease. They were owed some money or something, and they're not getting it. This has been a dogfight forever. Oakland doesn't care about their athletic team, so they just let them walk away. The people there didn't want a new stadium. The guy that owns them is a billionaire. He refuses to do anything. He wanted public money. Now they're moving to Vegas. They won't be ready till almost 2027. I don't know why. The weather's nice down there. You should be able to get the stadium up in no time. They put an overpass up in a week over one of their highways down there, so I'm sure they can get the stadium built pretty quickly. And now they have to play in Sacramento. Your thoughts on the Oakland A's real quick?
Well, wow, it's too bad. At one time they loved their athletics. The Oakland Raiders, the Oakland A's, man. What basketball team up there, NBA team. So yeah, man, it's just a mess right now. It's just so hard, man. Small market, teams to be able to keep their franchises, man. So it looks like it's a real mess right now in Oakland.
Well, it's not just Oakland, Smokin' Jim. People are stepping up all across the country. Some of these towns, they're not voting for these stadiums. Look at Kansas City. I think they're still in a dogfight to get their new stadium. The Chiefs and stuff like that. So I mean, it's been a real tough situation getting stadiums now. People are not they don't want the public money to be used for stadiums. And in one perspective, I don't blame them. Look, you go to a game now, Smokin' Jim. You and I both know you got to literally take out a loan. I mean, that's a simple fact. And when you go to the game and prices are sky high, parking's the way it is, you got to take out a loan now, even to go to the movie theater. I mean, it's terrible out there. I went to a movie theater right before COVID. I went to go see a movie, and it cost me and my wife almost $50. So I mean, I remember the days of the dollar theater and the $5 matinees and all that stuff. So but anyway, all right, Smokin' Jim. When we come back, you and I are going to talk some wrestling. We're going to start early because we got a lot to talk about: ROH, TNA, and of course SummerSlam, the return of Roman Reigns. It's going to be a big time sport wrestle talk coming right up right after these words. Ralph Williams here today to talk to you about Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. Allied Powers Wrestling Federation is a great independent wrestling company owned by promoter Bubba Brewer, who has been on wrestle talk shows with me, Ralph Williams, and Smokin Jim Frazier. Well, their next event is coming up August 24th at the Castle in Johnstown. For some great independent professional wrestling, come on August 24th, bell time 7 p.m. Get your tickets on AlliedPowersWrestlingFederation.com. And please don't forget, Sports Corner show with Ralph Williams, Smokin Jim Frazier is a sponsor of all Allied Wrestling Federation events, and also will be at this event as well as all of Allied Powers Wrestling Federation events. Go head out to Johnstown, to the Castle, August 24th, 7 p.m. bell time, Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. Do you need insurance? I'm talking about auto. I'm talking about fire. I'm talking about life. And I'm talking about any kind of insurance, even renter's insurance. Well, call Robin Campbell today at 412-366-3399. Give Robin a call. Farmers Insurance, Bristol West. I got to tell you, Robin Campbell came to my house and spoke to me directly about insurance options. And he also will set you up with the best insurance you need for your car, for your car, for renters, for fire insurance, anything, homeowners, any kind of insurance through Farmers Insurance or Bristol West. Give Robin a call again today. That number, 412-366-3399. That's 412-366-3399. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you. Robin Campbell Insurance, Farmers in Bristol West. Give Robin a call. All right, we're back here at Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin Jim Frazier. Give me 1 sec. All right, I'm sorry about that here. I had a little something going on here that I had to mute the microphone here, but we're back here at Sports Corner, getting ready for our Wrestle Talk segment. And coming up also on August 24th at the Pullman Park Stadium in Butler. It's 100 Pullman Park Place, Butler, PA. The Pros of Wrestling will be having an event there. That is Daniel Polinsky's group, and he's the man for that. You can get tickets at calling 412-335-1622 or prosofwrestling.com. Check out the bell time, 7:30, meet and greet at 6:30. They have Ultimo Maldito, Organjo Divino, and also the Wrecking Call, Lajerski, and Tiberius will be there as well. So don't forget the Ballpark Wrestling at the Ballpark, Pullman Park Stadium in Butler, also on August 24th, along with Allied Powers Wrestling in Johnstown, as you just heard as well. All right, Smokin Jim, you ready for Wrestle Talk?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get this rolling. ROH, Death by Dishonor. Mark Briscoe, he defeated Broderick Strong to retain. Your thoughts on Broderick Strong and Mark Briscoe in this match at ROH?
I tell you what, man, it was tremendous, wasn't it, Ralph?
Yes, it was. Absolutely. Mark Briscoe still hanging on to this title. No one thought he could do it because he's never been really a singles wrestler. He's come a long way since being teamed up with the other Briscoe and, who passed away. Broderick Strong, on the other hand, is nothing but a big baby. I'm glad that he loses because he's been nothing but a tyrant. And I don't personally like him. I used to like him when he was in NXT, but I don't like him now. So the Kingdom retained their tag team belts in this match. They also, due to interference from Kyle Fletcher, Atlantis Jr. Survived another wrestler. I'm not sure who he competed against because I didn't get the information. All I got was that he retained his title. He's the TV champion. And Athena also retained her title as well. And Athena right now is the longest holding ROH Women's Champion as of right now. And you remember her? She was Amber Moon in the WWE and NXT and whatnot, Smokin Jim. She didn't get used real good in the WWE when she came up to the main roster. Your thoughts on Athena?
I tell you what, man, what an accomplishment.
Oh, I just love it when people go to other federations and make something out of themselves after they got screwed by the WWE. I mean, Amber Moon, she wasn't even used very well at all when she came up to the main roster. And, you know, some people, NXT is their thing. I mean, you know, you got guys who come up, you know, from NXT and don't do squat. And now, you know, they're coming up, and some of them are coming up now. And look at LA Knight. He's now the new U.S. title. But I got some news for you today that's gonna interest you. And wait to hear this news involving him. TNA Impact, Nick Nemitz put his title on the line against Mustafa Ali and retained. Mustafa Ali's contract is running out with TNA. Rumor has it he's moving on to some other federation. And also Matt Cardona made his return recently this week. And your thoughts on Matt Cardona and Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler?
Ziggler's a fan favorite, man. You know, it's just amazing. He's still in good shape. He still moves well. He's still a character. Yeah.
All right. Hang on a minute, Smokin Jim. There we go. Okay, there we are. I had to shuffle my notes around here a little bit. All right, Smokin Jim, let's talk about last night's Raw before we get into SummerSlam. Your thoughts on last night's Raw?
Give me a hint. All the shows run together. I believe that I guess the
well, the Judgment Day's done as they were. Okay.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley, you know, Damian Priest are on there are together, it seems like. And they've left the Judgment Day, and it's now Liv Morgan, Dummy Dom. I'm going to call him like Pat McAfee does, Dummy Dom, and the JD McDonough, Carlito, and now Finn Balor.
I was surprised McDonough lasted as long as he did against Priest.
Yes, I did too.
That was a heck of a match.
It was a good match. Yes, it was. But I liked the main event match. It was great to see the Wyatt Six. Oh my gosh, we haven't seen them in a long time. It was the one the Mike Jurak or whatever his name is. They all look psycho anyway. And then the one guy with the blonde hair that beat up the Miz that time. He was with Johnny Gargano for a little while, and I can't place his name off the top of my head right now. And then they also had Eric Rowan, and the three of them did pretty good. They went against Chad Gable and the Butcher Brothers or whatever they call themselves there. You know, them guys. So you know, that was I was quite surprised they held their own, and they won their match. So I was so happy to see that as well. Coming up,
who's the girl that hangs with Otis and the other one?
That's Maxine Dupree.
Oh, did she look good last night?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I tell you what, she can wrestle. She's not bad for she can wrestle pretty good. Yeah. So I'm interested to see your thoughts or hear your thoughts on what you think Otis and Tazera and this Maxine Dupree. Where do they go now since Chad Gable's away from them? The Creed brothers. That's who it is. That's who was with Chad Gable. The Creed brothers. Yeah.
They got a chance, man, because of Otis, but you got to figure what's going on with New Day. New Day got that 400-pound guy.
Yeah,
man.
did you see that guy? He was the North American champion down in NXT. Oh my gosh! Now he's joining the New Day. Oh, I'll tell you what. Final Testament's in trouble. Did you see the way he wiped out the whole Final Testament last night?
He grabbed them both up like they wasn't nothing and slammed them. I'm like, woo!
Yeah, this guy was like just tremendous, and I was like, it's great to have him to be the addition to the New Day if that's the case, because you know why? They're missing a big man like Big E. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's great to have them have somebody like that to help them against this Final Testament. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, this Final Testament has just been on and on. Let me ask you this: are you tired of some of the storylines that are going on? Some of them are you think some of them are getting kind of old?
I never get tired of storylines. I love stories.
Yeah, I do too. But some of them are getting a little old. I'm interested to see the Bloodline versus the Judgment Day. I'm interested in seeing something like that. You know what I mean? And also your thoughts on the new the three women, Zoe Starks and Shayna Baszler, and them there. Your thoughts on them?
They're tough.
Yeah,
They're tough, man. They're vicious.
Yeah.
They got the ability to hurt people.
Yeah, they do.
They're gonna be. Yeah, I don't know if they'll win a lot, but they'll be competitive.
Yep, and I feel bad at SummerSlam because I actually thought Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair were going to get the belts back until all this other stuff was going on here, and so
what's going on? They're not going to be able to get the
this
belts.
one wrestler that come up from NXT, I guess Jade Cargill or somebody pissed her off so bad that she attacked Cargill and them, and they ended up getting disqualified. And the girls that have that Alma or whoever has the tag team belts ended up keeping them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so but anyway, all right. Real quick here, we're waiting for Tad Jarvis. I see when he's supposed to be here at 5:30, which is right now. Let me see if I can find his email and see if he's coming on or not. Nope, I haven't seen him. I don't see his email saying he's not. So I'm assuming he's going to be here. So I sent him the invite. Tad Jarvis will be joining us shortly, I guess. He's an independent wrestler, wrestles around Western Pennsylvania here. Every week we're going to try to have some kind of an independent wrestler on here to talk about some things. And Smokin' Jim, I got somebody, Mike Sisak has a friend of his, from Amped Up Sports, who's a boxer, boxes in Madison Square Garden. And there's a possibility we may be getting him on the show as well coming up soon. And I'm trying to see if I can get Mike McSorley on next week. He's got an event coming up soon too, Smokin' Jim. And I hear you and Al Levine got some MMA action going on. What's going on there?
Yeah, Al Levine got his own company, man. I tell you what, man, he really put a lot of the Bitcoin into that. And, it's called Coliseum Combat, and he had a hard time, man, getting it up off the ground because of all the red tape for the bureaucrats. So a lot of his shows initially was canceled because he didn't have all his T's crossed and I's dotted. But
Right.
he got it this time, man. So September 14th, Saturday, Monroeville at the All-American Center, man. It's going to be 14 fights. 4 professional fights, 10 amateur fights, a lot of female fighters. So, and they really bring out a nice crowd. And we probably got the sexiest ring card girls in the state of Pennsylvania. So it's going to be worth it.
So this is MMA, right? This is not boxing.
Yeah.
Okay.
MMA, yeah.
Right. Oh, I can't.
MMA.
I'm going to try to beat her. I can't wait to see that action.
Oh, man, it'd be good to see you, bro.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget, too, we got the Pros of Wrestling coming, I think in September or October. They're going to be in Monroeville. So we're going to be heading out to there to go see that event. And then I know you're going August 24th. I will not be in town. I'm going to be up in Erie. So you'll be going by yourself down to Johnstown to see Bubba's event. And then also in October, there's another event down at Johnstown that Bubba's hosting as well. So, we'll be there for that as well. So come on out to some of these events. You'll see Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier, and say hello. And I want to thank some of the folks this past week. I was out and about a little bit doing some stuff, and I was on the south side yesterday. I had to go deliver something down to UPS, and I ran into some people on the street who saw me and said, "Watch the show. Very nice." And I say, "Thank you." So Smokin' Jim. So we got some fans from the south side of Pittsburgh.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Bro.
So yesterday I was down there. I had to Of course, I don't drive down there because you can't park. So I took the bus, and I was on my scooter. I was riding down to the UPS store because I had to go in there and drop something off. And a couple people said, "Hey, how you doing there, Ralph? Love Sports Corner." I said, "Oh, thank you." Then they also said hello to you too. A guy named Dan and another guy named Leo said hello as well. Not Leo Haggerty, this Leo. So, just to let you know, Smokin' Jim. So there you are.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, we got fans everywhere, man. I'm going up to Erie to start building us up in Erie. And with Gannon today, we're really going to be building ourselves around Western Pennsylvania. So Sports Corner, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier will be out there. And we even have new Sports Corner pens. I showed you one last week. Oh, wow. We're really getting together there, Smokin' Jim. All right. So, all right, let's get started with the SummerSlam card. Your thoughts on it? I thought the Gunther match against Damian Priest was a very good match. I expected Gunther to win because I knew he would. He has more experience than Damian Priest. Damian gave him a good match. I didn't expect Finn Balor to screw him. Your thoughts on that match?
Which match now? Damian Priest and
Gunther.
I tell you what, man. Woo. You called it as usual, man. I thought maybe Damian Priest would retain his title, but man, Gunther's just too tough, man. I think he's gonna hold on to that thing for a long, long time.
Well, we'll see. Well, again, last night we saw Seth Rollins go down because of big Bronson Reed didn't get his way, so he decides he's going to just power bomb Seth Rollins.
Was that some internal bleeding?
Yes, wow. I found Michael Cole announced at the end of the show, toward the end, that he has internal bleeding. So,
wow.
And I think Adam Pearce should be fired because he should have stopped this from the beginning. As soon as he heard Bronson Reed say, "Well, I'm going to make my own way," he should have said, "Out, get out of here, go home, collect your thoughts," or whatever. And he didn't even bother to even come out and try to help Seth. They should have rolled him out of the ring way ahead of time there. I thought that was wrong. And, and Michael Cole even said, "Come on, get somebody in here, get him out of there." And it was just amazing what happened there with that. And I thought that was wrong. What a way for Seth Rollins to go down right now. But I do know Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are taking time off to be with their child. I know Becky Lynch is still taking some time off. She's writing another book, and she's taking care of her little daughter. And I know that they're trying to balance their schedule of wrestling and being family. You know what I mean? So, and I don't blame them for that. But we'll see where it goes from here after that. All right, next, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Finally, Drew got a win here, but Seth Rollins was kicked. I think CM Punk's emotions got to him. What do you think?
Yeah, when you're at that level, man, and got that kind of history, those guys know how to get under each other's skin, and so I think CM Punk wanted to be cool, but Mac knows how to get under his skin, man. And I tell you what, man, you may not like the storyline, but that's a heck of a storyline between them two right now.
Oh, no, I never said I didn't like it. I love it because you know why? I love Drew's crying. Oh, it's your fault. Oh, you and your jokes and, I wanted to see him lose again, so he'd cry and blame somebody else. I blame Seth Rollins because I lost. Oh, Yeah. So, but anyway, I thought it was a good match. I like the storyline still, and it's going to continue, whether Drew wants to quit it or not, because he still has that bracelet. And CM Punk is also angry with Seth Rollins, and Rollins angry with him. So I mean, it's going to be. We're going to see a triple threat match coming up real soon with them three. Well, when I don't know, but that's what's going to happen.
Hey, Ralph.
Yes.
Can you just make a note before the end of the show? Let's talk a little bit about MFJ or MJF.
MJF, absolutely. Yeah. That's my man. My gosh, I love MJF, man.
Okay.
You know why I like him? Because when I first met him, he was friends with Cody Rhodes, which he still is. Okay. Cody Rhodes almost got him to the WWE until Tony Khan came up with some money. Okay.
Wow.
Well, it turns out that now he's that international championship, and he turned it into the American championship. And I think he's going to go a long way with that. And if I'm Swerve Strickland, I'd be very careful because MJF's coming to get him, and that's a simple fact. Okay. While we're on the topic of AEW, let's talk about Chris Jericho and the learning tree. How they've done some damage around the AEW scene, and and Kyle Fletcher, nobody, or Will Ospreay and all them, nobody seems to know if Don Callis is working with them or not. They're about as confused as a blind man in a silent movie theater. And then you got, AEW's got some stuff going on with some of these matches. They put together some pretty good matches lately. You got the Acclaim with Daddy Ass and some of these other people. It's not a bad thing. And every now and again, you see the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer. I mean, he was just on this past week. So it's been Darby Allin still hanging in there. AEW is doing okay. But I got a couple things for you. CM Punk was interviewed this past week before the SummerSlam event, and they asked him his thoughts on Tony Khan. He called Tony Khan a coward. He said Tony Khan is a lost soul, almost like Pink Floyd, a lost soul swimming in a fishbowl. Well, that's what he said. He said he's nothing but lost and a coward. So, Yeah, that's the situation there. Also, Shane McMahon is and has signed a contract to be with AEW. Now, no one knows if he's... The rumor I'm hearing is they want him in a creative position, and he's going to be a part-time wrestler there. But he's taking the McMahon name out. They're going to put another name in after his name, Shane. He will not use the McMahon name. So when he wrestles. So I'm not exactly sure where his status is on this. And I know I've said this many times. It was confirmed by Conan, the news, that AEW has hemorrhaged money ever since they've been, the Tony Khan has played with the family's money. The father's now involved after Tony Khan got hurt. And that time by a few people. And what had happened was he ended up getting hurt and wearing a neck brace and all that other stuff. And then Christopher Daniels was appointed executive vice president. And his dad, Tony Khan's father, and family are now involved. They're concerned and they're angry because he's just blowing money away like crazy. I know they got billions of dollars, but don't forget, Smokin' Jim, and I've said this many times, they're paying for it. There's no public money. They're paying to rebuild Jacksonville Stadium with their own money, okay? Or they're going to build something new with their own money. So now they got to start budgeting their money or watching their pockets, because if they're going to put all that money out for a new stadium for the Jaguars or whatever they're doing there, that's why Tony Khan's father has stepped up, because of the finances. And Tony Khan's just sitting there playing with the family's money. And they're going to end up being poor because Tony Khan keeps hemorrhaging money every year. You see?
Good point. Good point.
So, you can't, I don't care how rich you are, Smokin' Jim, you can't sit there and just hemorrhage money like that. You know what I mean? You got to budget, you got to watch, you got to be careful, that kind of thing. So, I mean, but anyway, let's get back to the SummerSlam thing here shortly here, and then we'll go to a break because I got some bills to pay. And then we'll continue talking here. I don't know what happened to Tad Jarvis. I sent him the invite. I don't know what happened to him. He didn't get back to me, so I'm not sure. Maybe he'll come on next week. We'll try to get 2 wrestlers on and whatnot. I'll come up with some idea here. I always do. But anyway, Dummy Dawn, we already know about the Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Dummy Dom turning on her. Your thoughts on this match?
I tell you what, man, it was incredible. I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought Rhea Ripley might have won that one. It caught me totally by surprise.
Oh man, I didn't expect it. But you know what was interesting though? When Dom come out, I said to my wife. In fact, I made a couple predictions here that actually came true. And I said to my wife, I said, "There's something up with Dom. He's smiling too much." Okay. There's something up here, and I was right. He went with Liv Morgan, and there were rumors out there that the new Judgment Day was going to include Liv Morgan, and wasn't including Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. But what I do is I always put rumors aside because you know why? They're only rumors. Okay, they're not fact. And here I want to give fact, not rumors. You see what I'm saying? That's why I never said anything about it, because I didn't want to say, oh, well, Ralph said that, that was wrong, or something. So, that way our credibility is better because I don't worry about rumors. If I hear rumors, that's fine. I just go, okay, that's fine. But if it's fact, then it's fact. Okay. But anyway, and I'll tell you it's a rumor. Number two, it's not rumor. It's kind of going to be a fact here real soon. Logan Paul is getting ready to sue LA Knight. Okay, Smokin' Jim?
Yes.
He's getting ready to sue LA Knight because LA Knight destroyed his property. And he also wants to get him for trespassing in his house. Everything that LA Knight did to him, he wants to sue him for. Also, Logan Paul is being sued by somebody for copyright infringement on the name on his athletic drink. And I'm glad somebody's suing him, and they're getting him pretty heavy. I think it's close to $50 million. So that's what's going on with Logan Paul right now. And if this lawsuit happens and Logan Paul wins, rumor has it that the WWE may strip LA Knight of his U.S. title, because now TKO has a new policy, Smokin' Jim. If you're involved in a court case, you cannot, or like, remember Brock Lesnar wanted to come back to the WWE, and TKO said no because you're involved in a court case with Vince McMahon. Well, if LA Knight gets involved in a court case with Logan Paul, they may strip him of the title.
Okay.
All right. And Logan Paul cannot participate in any WWE events until the court stuff is settled. So if this drags on for 2 or 3 years, you won't see either one of them in the WWE. You see?
Wow.
So, yeah, TKO came up with a whole bunch of new rules. Why do you think Brock Lesnar can't come back? Because he was involved in that situation with Vince McMahon. And then he had to go to court and testify. So, you're not going to be able to, do that. So that's the stories I got. And where I got them from is from a pretty good source. Logan Paul is being sued because he's using Prime as his drink name, and that's copyrighted. Deion Sanders.
Wow.
There's a few other people that have copyrighted Prime, and he didn't get it copyrighted. Okay. All right. And now he's being sued. And good. I'm glad, because I don't like the guy. I can't stand him. Okay. No, I think, you know what? I agree with Cody Rhodes, and I agree with LA Knight, and I agree with all the other wrestlers. This guy is nothing but a Hollywood superstar or social media, whatever he does. Okay. And I don't have a problem with somebody making money. I have a problem when you have guys who are champions, and TKO said this, there will be no more part-time champions. What do you think Logan Paul is or was? Okay. All right. What about Nick Aldis? I'm going to crack the whip. Well, he's letting the bloodline do whatever they feel like it. And, I mean, come on, if you're cracking the whip, Nick, why aren't you doing it? That's got me frustrated too with that. I'm going to crack the whip. And then I know he didn't like Roman Reigns here for a while, and he was cracking the whip on the bloodline. Now all of a sudden the bloodline can do whatever they feel like it. And I just think that, WWE has to be careful with that stuff, because if they don't, they're going to lose credibility with people. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So, all right, Smokin' Jim, when we come back after these words, more about SummerSlam right after this.
Okay.
Ralph Williams here today to talk to you about Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. Allied Powers Wrestling Federation is a great independent wrestling company owned by promoter Bubba Brewer, who has been on Wrestle Talk shows with me, Ralph Williams, and Smokin' Jim Frazier. Well, their next event is coming up August 24th at the Castle in Johnstown. For some great independent professional wrestling, come on August 24th, bell time 7 p.m. Get your tickets on AlliedPowersWrestlingFederation.com. And please don't forget, Sports Corner show with Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier is a sponsor of all Allied Wrestling Federation events, and also will be at this event as well as all of Allied Powers Wrestling Federation events. Head out to Johnstown, to the castle, August 24th, 7 p.m. bell time, Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. Let me talk to you today about Super 8 Motel, or Super 8 by Wyndham in Grove City. If you're going to the outlet mall, or if you're going to Grove City for an event, or if you're going to go around and visit some of the Amish around there, like Volant or anything like that, or if you just want to you don't want to pay the high prices of a hotel in Erie, perhaps, I have an option for you. Super 8 Grove City. Let me tell you something about Super 8 Grove City. Super 8 Grove City treated me very well. They gave me the room I wanted. They were very nice people. They helped load and unload my car or my vehicle. They were very nice. The customer service is there. It's very nice. Super 8 Wyndham in Grove City. Or maybe you just want to get away for the weekend and you want to go there. You want to shop at the outlet mall for some great stores. Stay at the Super 8 Grove City. And don't forget, get online with super8grovecity.com. And the by Wyndham Hotels, Super 8 Grove City. All right, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Ralph Williams here. We're here for our Wrestle Talk segment. August 24th, Allied Powers Wrestling in Johnstown, and also the pros out in Butler County as well. We have that coming. Smokin' Jim, I was telling you earlier about Mike Simsack. The name of this boxer that he wants me to talk about or have on the show, his name is Zula the Rula Zagwawa. You know him?
Wow, that's a heck of a name. I don't think I'm familiar with him though.
Well,
but,
he wrestles
he
I'm sorry, he doesn't wrestle. He boxes in New York City in Madison Square Garden. So, but we're going to work on getting him on the show, talk about boxing a little bit with him and Mike McSorley as well. I know he has an event coming up real soon here, does Mike McSorley. So, all right, Ballpark Wrestling, the pros of wrestling, Saturday, August 24th, Pullman Park Stadium. We are also a sponsor of this wrestling federation as well as Allied Powers Wrestling. And I want to thank Bubba Brewer for promoting us and us promoting him. And, we're doing everything we can here. And I've promoted his shows. And yes, last night he couldn't do his show because they had another power outage in Indiana County due to some storms. So he was unable to put on his shows last night. But anyway, Saturday, August 24th, Pullman Park Stadium in Butler, 100 Pullman Park Place, Butler, PA. Bell time 7:30. Call 412-335-1622 for more information and tickets. There's going to be a meet and greet at 6:30. Ballpark Wrestling, Daniel Polinsky's group, the pros of wrestling. All right, Smokin' Jim. Let's get back to our SummerSlam review here a little bit. Let's see here. Cody Rhodes retained, took on Solo Sikoa, and the return of Roman Reigns. What do you think of that?
Man, that was exciting. I thought
I called that too. I said Roman Reigns was coming back at this event. I said that weeks ago. Nobody believed me.
Yes, you did. And it was exciting. And the Superman punch and the spear.
Oh, yeah. And I knew Cody was up to something, because why would you take a match with bloodline rules and not have a plan? Okay. Because I even said to my wife, I said, look, I think Cody Rhodes has a plan. And then when I saw Arn Anderson in the back, and Arn Anderson is now back with the WWE, he's going to be where he's Cody Rhodes' manager. He was his manager in AEW, if you remember. So, he's back here and doing that. And Arn Anderson has friends. Cody Rhodes has friends, more than people know. And Randy Orton was back. Kevin Owens was back. And it was great to see Roman Reigns come back. And now I'm interested to see where Survivor Series goes, because I'm hearing stories now it's just going to be the Usos and Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa and the gang from the current bloodline. And I've also heard The Rock is going to be on Solo's side. I heard Sami Zayn will join Roman Reigns and that side to make the 4 and 4. And then I heard it's going to be The Rock on one side, Rikishi's getting involved. There's all kinds of rumors out there about what's going on with this civil war between the bloodline. And now it has really become a civil war. and it started with Roman Reigns this past Saturday. Your thoughts, Smokin' Jim?
Oh, it's gonna get fun, man.
Oh, it
I
is.
tell you what, this is a writer's dream. They can write all kind of storylines into this. Man, it's gonna go on for months.
Oh yeah, well, I'm on with Peter Blake on Turnbuckle Talk on the Sports Web every Wednesday night at 10:30, and we're going to try to get you on one of these days, Smokin' Jim. If it
Okay,
fits your
thanks.
schedule. Anyway, Peter and I both agreed that the WWE is very good at storylines. Okay, AEW focuses on wrestling; they have no storylines. There aren't too many of them. All right, most of the time. But now with Shane McMahon coming in, I think the AEW might turn to start doing some storylines because what that does is that elevates AEW with Shane McMahon coming in. But anyway, let's get back to this. Braun Breaker beat Sami Zayn. Where do you see? I saw Jey Uso last night bringing up some hints to Sami Zayn that him and Sami are going to go after the Judgment Day for the tag team belts again. What do you think, or the tag team belts, them two together? You think that could happen? What do you see here?
Yeah, that's a tough one, Ralph. Yeah, I definitely could see it happening. What do you think?
Well, I think them two are going to get together. I think Braun Breaker
Okay,
could be Intercontinental Champion for a while.
okay,
He has the skills and everything, and he came up with some new stuff. I was shocked, and he did his homework on Sami Zayn. He didn't fall for the trap like he did in the last match. I thought he wrestled better, and he came more prepared. Okay, I didn't expect that. I don't think Sami Zayn did either, but he came more prepared, and his father was there, and his uncle was there. So it was. They had some Hall of Famers sitting up in the stands, up in a box. So it was nice to see all them there for the Hall of Fame time or whatever they do there or whatever, or the legends they call them. All right. But also let's talk about Nia Jax and Bailey. How about this one? Tiffany Stratton gets involved in this. I thought she was cashing in the briefcase, and it was going to be another triple threat match like we saw at the last pay-per-view. Your thoughts on this?
Well, I tell you what, Ralph. Man, it's just so much, man. I want to get your view. I want to get your view on it, man. It's just so much going on, man.
Well, Tiffany Stratton still has the briefcase. Nia Jax has the championship belt. Tiffany Stratton promised Nia Jax she wouldn't cash it in on her. But what happens if Nia Jax stays here? No, you know me better. I always put together something, some kind of scenario.
Yeah,
Let's see
yeah.
what happens if Nia Jax is champ long term, okay, and it goes beyond the year to turn in the box or the briefcase. Is Tiffany Stratton going to do it? Yes, because I think she's going to stab Nia Jax right in the back. I think as soon as Nia Jax goes down and she's hurt or she's in a position where she can cash in that briefcase, she's going to do it. Nobody, and I mean nobody, that has that case. It's one man. It's every person for themselves, whether it's the woman or the man with that briefcase. You saw it with Damian Priest, okay? It's one man for themselves, okay? All right. And Tiffany Stratton's going to be for herself, of course. You always have to look out for number one. And as Rodney Dangerfield would say, never step to number two. Okay. And Tiffany Stratton is going to turn that. I'm telling you right now, right on this program. You heard it from me. I'm right 98% of the time. I think Tiffany Stratton's going to stab Nia Jax in the back. What do you think?
I got to agree with you. I got to agree with you. She'd be crazy not to.
Right. Exactly. And you only have a year. So let's say Nia Jax long term. I'm going to paint this scenario, and I'm good at painting scenarios. Let's say if Nia Jax holds on to this belt long term, is Tiffany Stratton before the year runs out going to cash that briefcase in after she promised Nia Jax she wasn't going to do it?
Yeah.
All right. And can you trust Nia Jax? That's another question. No. You can't trust her either. So and I'm hearing stories she might join the bloodline because she's part of that thing. So, if she joins the bloodline, she could be the champ long term. Okay.
Wow.
You see? you know, you have to look at some of these scenarios here because they could happen. I mean,
Yeah.
thinking a creative basis, if creative puts that together for WWE, that could happen. But I don't think at all that Tiffany Stratton is going to say to if Nia Jax, let's say it goes into 2, 3, maybe 4 months, maybe 6 months. You think Tiffany Stratton's going to hold on to that contract like that? No way. You know what I mean? You know, so all right. But anyway, all right, Smokin' Jim, time to wrap it up. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, great job, man. Great
Thank
job
you.
as usual, Ralph.
Thank you. Too bad Tad Jarvis didn't make it. So, you know, but anyway, that's that there. No, Kermit the Frog, 19810. I'm not letting anyone just join in here because we're getting ready to wrap up. Thank you. But I don't just let anyone come on. I used to do Joe shows years ago. I don't do them no more. Sorry. So, you know, I used to let any Joe come on the air years ago, but I'm not doing it no more. Many years ago. When I was on PCTV, I used to do something called a Joe show where I would have any Joe come on with me on Sports Talk. And I ended up getting all these boneheads on calling in and all that stuff, Smokin' Jim. So I'll never do that again. So, you know, but anyway, yeah. So, all right. Next week, another edition of Sports Corner. Stay tuned to my social media platforms for all. I'm working on some guests. The booking machine will be working the phone and working the emails, getting people here for the show. So stay tuned to my social media platforms. Don't forget tomorrow, a busy day for me tomorrow, as every Wednesday is, 3 p.m. Ralph's Opinion. We got to talk about Kamala Harris and her new pick for vice president was not Josh Shapiro. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Ralph's Opinion, 3 p.m. right here on your social media, 3 social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch platforms. And then also don't forget 9 p.m. the NFL Roundtable on the Knee Biting Network with Jeremy Ballrick and his friends. I'm going to be on that show. And then at 10:30 with Peter Blake and the Sports Web and the Turnbuckle Talk segment. We talk more professional wrestling with myself, Peter Blake, and Mark Mancini when he's available. All right, I'm Ralph Williams for Smokin' Jim Frazier. Have yourself a great night, and please be